There we go. I call them late winter, early spring, or winter stones. This river is choked with them, and they're all over the place right now. This little guy, I think, trying to get a little heat off my fingers.
Sometimes birds don't eat it.
Now it's time to do another fishing report. This time I'm standing on the Salmon River today. I spent a little bit of time fishing the salmon. Even though the weather's been very warm this week, we've had a lot of snow melt, and we're starting to get a lot of runoff in the river. The water temperatures are becoming very cold. So we've got chilly fish, but that's one of the biggest problems. The other thing is the fish are starting to come into the salmon, but they're moving to the lower end of the river very fast. Nothing unusual. It's what they do. So you got to cover a bunch of water and hope to put a fly in front of the fish as they're on the go. Starting out at the bottom end of the river, did spend some time in the Douglaston Salmon Run. The ice is out of the way. The ice on the bank is not a problem. The water flows when I was down there was really good. By the way, as of doing this report, the water release from the dam is 750. I think this morning it was like 9 something at Pineville at the gauge. So we're obviously picking up some snowmelt runoff between the banks and Trout Brook and Orwell Brook. So they're starting to have an effect at the gauge and down in the bottom of the river here. The watercolor is still very good, so that's typical of this river. But it's cold. Typical for mid-March. Just typical March stuff. So we got to cover a lot of water to find some fish in the top or the bottom 3/4 of the river. The top quarter of the river's got a lot of fish. They're stacked up. They're crabby. They've been picked on. The new fish are coming in and they're grumpy because of the water temperature cold. So fish very precise, fish careful. Pay attention to your presentation. The other thing is there's a lot of stoneflies hatching. This river has a really good winter stonefly hatch, and it's happening. There's stoneflies on a sunny day, could be crawling all over the snow on the banks and rocks, and even yourself when you're out wading and fishing, you'll find them crawling up your waders. So there's a lot of that up there. AK stonefly nymphs, upper river is the way to go. Some small caddisy type stuff has been working good. Upper river, the old dead drift routine. So that's being productive up top. Lower river, we're trying to swing some flies, cover a bunch of water, try to find one of those fresh fish moving. It's pretty sketch. So you're having to beat a lot of water to find a fish or two. So that's the real nutshell for here. The main runoff hasn't hit yet. There is a lot of snow yet on the banks of the Salmon River to melt and come into the river. And the top of the watershed has got, I don't know, probably a 3-foot base that's really saturated for water. So we're going to have some runoff coming into the spring. So it looks like we're going to be okay for water for a while. And I would check the gauges and water. The water. What is it?
Safe water.
Safe water. Thanks, Rick. Rick's running the camera for me. Safe water to see what the releases are. And you want to, this time of the year, you want to check daily. Don't just assume what they say. They could say that we're going to run 750 for the next 3 days, and wake up the next morning and we're at 1500. So check every night before you fish. Don't trust what they say is going to last the next 3 days. So check that daily. The other thing is the creeks are going to probably start to fish a little bit, and some of the smaller rivers, the Sanies north of the Salmon River, should start to break up, open up, and they should start to fish too. So there should be some stuff to work with around here. So that's pretty much what's going on here on the Salmon River. The west end of Lake Ontario, those creeks are in good shape. Most of the snow is melted off, most of the runoff is off. They're in good fishing shape. Depending on the creek, they could be getting low and clear now, or they could still be high and very dirty. So you want to take it creek by creek. If one creek is not working, go to the next one. Move around. You should find something that's working. That's actually starting to fish a little bit. So all those creeks and all that is starting to happen. Some of my brown trout waters actually got some leftover brown trouts in it, so that's pretty exciting. We're finding some new steelhead coming in and some that's wintered over. So that's fishing pretty good. Flies out there, we've been using white zonkers, dirty water, chartreuse willy buggers, egg patterns. It's been working really good out there. And on the Salmon River, stonefly nymphs. You just bring your box, try whatever, some caddis stuff. Bring your box, try some whatever. We're fishing some swinging. We're fishing some petite, smallish intruder style, like single skirt. Some people call them one stage intruders, just to keep it kind of petite, because getting a few pokes with that. So that's pretty much what's going on. A couple announcements. As always, we're still taking names for the our spay casting clinic that we'll hold in August. There's, on the end of this video, there'll be an email address you can email at Lost Rivers Fishing, and just say, hey, we want to be in your spay casting clinic in August. We'll put you on a list, and then we'll firm everything up late spring, early summer. So we'll put you on a list for that. So that's pretty much what's going on. As always, our calendars are open. We're booking for, especially for fall, and even doing some pike trip bookings and stuff like that. Our spring calendar's starting to get a little tight, but don't hesitate to see if we have a cancellation or something. So that's pretty much it. It's time to get on the water and fish. Hopefully we're going to bang around a little bit more today and see if we can't find a fish. So it's time that we're in soft to flies, folks. Let's go fishing. This is Jay at JPEG Guides and Lost River Fishing. We are a year-round fly fishing catch and release guide service. We fish the Lake Ontario tributaries, and then during the spring and the summer we also fish the inland trout streams, classic dry fly fishing. During the heat of the summer we will do the warm water fishing for bass and pike. If you're interested in any of our outings or have any questions, please feel free to email us at fish@lostriversfishing.com. Hope to hear from you, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.